Now, one thing you can almost always find when you shop at the Dollar Tree are tumbling tower blocks. And I have a lot of them because every time I go, I buy a container or two of the tumbling tower blocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make a really awesome gazebo that you can use for Easter or any time really. And all you're going to need to make a gazebo is tumbling tower blocks and some wood glue. Now I like to use the Dollar Tree super glue wood glue. This stuff is incredible. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take tumbling tower blocks. Now I'm going to be using all of the brown ones, and I'm going to glue 5 of the tumbling tower blocks together end to end. And I'm going to do this twice. So I have 2 rows of tumbling tower blocks that are 5 blocks long. So I'm putting the wood glue on the short end of the block. Now I'm also going to glue together 4 tumbling tower blocks. Again, duplicating the same process, doing end to end. And I'm going to do this twice. So I'm going to have 2 rows of 5, and I'm going to have 2 rows of 4. Now, once these have had time to set up for just a few minutes, I'm going to glue them together because I'm going to make the base for the gazebo. So the blocks of 5 are going to be the front and the back, and the blocks of 4 are going to be the sides. And after that has dried, and I put some of that Dollar Tree wood glue all along the top edge of the base. And this is where I'm going to secure those craft sticks in place. Then I'm going to come back with some large craft sticks. Now I got these at Walmart, but you can find them on Amazon as well. You could also probably do this with either paint stir sticks, or if you had Dollar Tree signs, you could also use that for the base. I don't think it really matters. The thing that matters is you want to have a bottom. So this will be the bottom of the gazebo. Now, since these craft sticks are so wide, I did end up trimming one down. So it's just going to fit into that smaller space that's remaining on the base. I made a rhyme already and I'm just getting started. Oh my goodness. And I did try to cut down the craft stick with my scissors, but that wasn't working very well. So I did come back with my Zoid cutter, which I actually got at Dollar Tree. And I basically scored one of the craft sticks and then just removed the excess so it would fit in the open space. And I wanted to make sure that the base is going to be level. So I took 2 more craft sticks, I cut them down so that they will fit onto the base, and I'm going to attach those using some more wood glue. You don't necessarily have to do this, but I found when I flipped it over, it wasn't completely level. So by adding these extra glue sticks, it kind of lifts them up on the end and it levels it out a little bit. Now, while I was waiting for the base to dry, I decided to go through all of my tumbling tower blocks and pull out all of the brown ones. At one time, the tumbling tower blocks were just the natural color wood, but that was a while ago. So now they come in these brown color and then the natural color. So I want to see if I have enough of these blocks that I can do the entire gazebo in the brown. And I started with 5 of the tumbling tower blocks lined up, and that's going to be the base or the bottom row of my gazebo. Then I'm going to take another row of blocks and I'm going to secure those in between the first layer. Now, if you have a square, that will probably make it easier. I did not have one in my craft room. Actually, I don't even know where the one I have is that I got at Dollar Tree. So I used one of the larger craft sticks to make sure that the base or the beginning of my wall for my gazebo is going to be level. At least I hope it's going to be level. And again, I'm just using a little bit of wood glue to secure the second layer of the gazebo blocks to the first layer. Now I am going to duplicate this process for the other side. So these 2 rows of blocks that I'm starting, if you're going to do this, you need 2 of them. You need 1 on either side of the gazebo. And you'll just put 5 blocks at the beginning and then secure another layer of blocks on top. So the second layer is going to have 4 blocks. And then I just continued layering the blocks. So I have that open space in between. That's going to give it kind of the gazebo look, I guess you would say. And I just kept adding rows of blocks to get a taller piece. And again, I'm just alternating. So I have 5 blocks on one row, 4 blocks on the next row, then 5 blocks on the next row, then 4 blocks on the next row. And in the end, I did go up 7 blocks tall, and this will be the sides of the gazebo. So now so far, I've got 82 tumbling tower blocks that I've used to make this. Next, I'm going to take some regular sized craft sticks, cut the ends off, and then I'm going to secure those to one of the sides of the tumbling tower blocks. This is going to be the bottom side. Now, while the sides were drying, I was noticing that my base, the craft stick in the front, it wasn't completely sealed on one side. So I did use my hot glue gun just to make sure it's completely sealed. And once the sides had time to completely dry, then I came back with some more wood glue and I just dotted that along the craft stick. But I do want to get an instant grab, so I am going to use a little bit of hot glue right next to each drop of the wood glue. Then I'm going to take the side and I'm going to stand it up on the short side of the box that I made. And then I did the exact same thing on the opposite side. And when I say the short side, this is the side that has the 4 tumbling tower blocks together. The 2 sides with the 5 blocks on the bottom, that is going to be the front and the back of the gazebo. Who would have thought you could make something like this with tumbling tower blocks? That's why I love things like this from the Dollar Tree. For $1.25, you get a whole bunch of blocks and you just have to use your imagination or look on Pinterest to find something that you can make using the tumbling tower blocks. You don't need a saw, you don't need any fancy equipment, except maybe for your hot glue gun. All right, now this is where it's going to get really interesting because I do want the gazebo to have a top. So I'm going to take some tumbling tower blocks and I'm going to start putting them in between on both sides of the tall sides of my gazebo that I've made. So I'm putting a little bit of wood glue, but I'm also putting some hot glue and I'm angling the blocks so they're going to actually create an arch. So I'm basically continuing the same process that I did when I was making the sides, but I'm just angling the blocks a little bit. I don't know what the precise measurement of the angle is. I just angled them. That's the easiest way that I can tell you of how to do this. And it was a little bit of trial and error. I had no idea if this was going to work or not, but I figured, why not? Let's just try it and see what happens. Adding just a dot of hot glue along with the wood glue really does help to give it that instant stick, so the blocks will stay in place when they're at that angle. And once I had the first row done on one side, then I turned the gazebo around and I repeated the same process on the opposite side. So I think you can see from the top, I have 4 blocks that are going across and kind of at an angle on the one side. So I'm just going to continue that on the opposite side, keeping the blocks angled so that they're going to end up eventually meeting in the middle with the other side. And I continued that process until I reached the center where the final row is going to join both sides together. Now, was it exactly perfect? No, but that's okay because I'm going to show you in a few steps that it doesn't really matter if this is exactly perfect. If you want your gazebo to be perfect, I would highly encourage you to measure everything off. But for myself, I find that that ends up frustrating me more than anything. So I just kind of wing it. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know, but this is the process that works best for me. And I would encourage you to use the process that works best for you. And oh my goodness, look at this. This is the last brick that needs to go in place to have the top of my gazebo. This is so exciting. Oh my gosh, I cannot help myself. I am so excited even watching this process. This is just so awesome. Now, even like this, I think it looks okay, but I did add a little bit more tumbling tower blocks. As you can see right now, I'm carrying it outside, and I did reinforce the top with another row of the blocks. Now, what I'm going to do is use some Behr spray paint. This is in matte white, and I'm going to spray paint everything white. For me, this was a much easier process than trying to paint everything with acrylic or chalk paint. This paint by Behr works really well for crafts, and it did take 2 coats of the paint to get a completely white gazebo. I made sure to turn my project all the way around. I turned it on its side just to make sure there were no dark places and that I was able to get all of those tumbling tower blocks and the base to be all white without any hint of the brown showing through. And after it was dry, here is my gazebo. Oh my gosh, I really do like this. I think this is so cute. And it really wasn't hard to do. But now I want to embellish it. So I have this grass that I got last year. It's like a square of grass, and I just pulled it apart. I got this at Hobby Lobby after Easter last year, and it was 90% off. So I think it was less than $1. But I didn't want to cut down that grass. I want to actually put it in like plugs into the bottom of the gazebo. So I'm going to remove all of those little pieces, and then I'm going to glue the individual pieces into the bottom of the gazebo. So see, even though this isn't exactly perfect, it doesn't matter because it's not going to make a difference. You're not going to see any of the open areas. So I just continued to put some hot glue onto the bottom of the grass plugs. I guess there's no other way to say that. And then I just put them one by one onto the bottom of the gazebo. And I worked my way all to the front. I think that looks much nicer than if I would have cut the mat down just to fit. Now this little bunny, this is why I wanted to make this gazebo. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I got it on Amazon. It is a bunny on a swing. So I took the top, which was a hanger, off of the swing. And it was one solid piece, so I did cut it so each swing side is actually separated now. And then I determined where I wanted to hang the bunny swing. I thought it would look nice if the bunny was hanging a little bit more towards the back. I probably could have come forward one of the blocks, but where I put him, I was happy with. And I think you can see that I did add some more of those tumbling tower blocks just to give a little bit more strength to the top of the gazebo. That is why there are some of the blocks that are going across the front and the back. And then I just use my hot glue gun to secure each side of the swing to the top of the gazebo. And there's the bunny on the swing in the gazebo. But I wasn't quite finished. No. I can't do a project like this without adding some more greenery. So I got these at Hobby Lobby when they were on sale, 40% off. And I just took individual little pieces of these floral stems and I glued them to the top portion of the gazebo. I started by attaching some of the stems to the front and then coming down each side a little bit. I really wanted to make sure the front top portion of the gazebo had the most flowers. So I hot glued individual pieces onto the top that are facing out, like the front of the gazebo. And isn't that bunny so cute? I thought this would be such a perfect Easter decoration. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this. And I think I am going to give this to my granddaughter because I think she'll really love it. And I did want some of those flower stems to look like they were hanging down. So I took a couple of them and glued them in between the rows of the blocks from the top. So it looks like they're just hanging down. I also thought it would look really nice to have a couple of groupings of the flowers right in the front. So I just took some of the remnants or the leftover pieces of the flowers and grouped them together almost like they were a bouquet of flowers. I also removed some of the extra pink flowers and I hot glued them as well. So now this bouquet almost looks like a little flower bush. I also had these Easter eggs. These are definitely fake Easter eggs. I probably got them at Dollar Tree. And I just randomly started putting them throughout the grass on the bottom, which I think is really cute, especially if you have a child in your life at Easter time. I think they will absolutely adore this. Well, maybe not just children, but adults as well. I am just so happy with how this turned out. I can't believe how cute this looks. Using Tumbling Tower Blocks from the Dollar Tree. A lot of the other things I already had. To me, the bunny on the swing, that is just like the best part of this project. Well, maybe not the best part because the gazebo, I'm telling you, this is pretty good too. Well, has this inspired you to look at the tumbling tower blocks in a completely different way? It definitely has given me some new ideas of how to use these very affordable craft supplies from Dollar Tree. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you to watch. And I want to say thank you to all of you who have been following me for quite some time now. I really appreciate all your kind words and it means the world to me. Thank you so much. And if you've enjoyed this video, I've got a lot more like it. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell notification so you can get an alert when those new videos come out. Again, thank you so much for watching and happy crafting.